Alright, y'all. I saw this and it intrigued me so much, so I had to see what the story is about. It kind of gives off vibes of Heaven's Secret. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with And the Haze Will Take Us Season 1 Episode 1. Like, I've seen this on the app multiple times, but I never found the occasion to actually start a new show. Or more like a new story to read, because there are a lot of unfinished stories that I need to continue. And one of them was actually, I forgot its name. Hold up. Soulless. And Kali Flame of Samsara too. But this actually intrigues me, so I thought, why not give it a try? And if it intrigues me, I'm gonna put this into one of the stories that I'm gonna read occasionally. Or more like, I'm gonna do another poll and ask y'all to react. Like, if you want me to continue an old story, like the ones that I always react to at the moment after Heaven's Secret to finished is Heaven's Secret Requiem and Song of the Crimson Nile. Like, those are the two main stories that I read. And then there was Kali Flame of Samsara. And I started episode 2 of Soulless as well. So this would be like the third story if it's good. But let's see. The gods are long gone and your village is shrouded in a deadly fog. You are used to the secrets of your home and the silence. But when you feel the haze calling out to you, everything changes. Now, what is the haze? Bye. Happy solutions. Nope. It will always remain the same. Ooh, she is pretty. I have no idea why they're... Oh, she's gorgeous too. Y'all, I can't. Honestly, I think this is a good thing what they're doing. That they're actually saying, yes, you can be curvy, but that doesn't mean that you're fat. Because usually, at least where I come from, when you had a little more curves, like a bigger ass, they immediately would say that you're fat and you needed to lose weight. Because they're used to like those K-pop girl groups. Not to like shame on them or anything, like don't even think like that, but just to put it in here, like they are very slender, and people like from the southern countries, like South America, like South Italy, we have very huge curves, let me just say it like this. So a lot of people would like think that our curves are fat and that means we needed to lose weight. I'm gonna go with curvy. Yes, thank you. Ooh, the hair. This gives off vibes of like medieval times. I don't know. You know what? Let's go with this. Yes, thank you. My preference. Oh, we can do both? You know, sometimes I have the feeling that y'all want me to have both. Like both male and female. And I feel like, at least in the new stories that they're releasing, you can choose and you will still be introduced to like the male and female love interests. But when you only choose the male love interests, the female love interests will be locked. So I'm just gonna go, like, for the people, like, if you want me then to go with a female love interest, I'm open. Like, then you will be capable to like write it down in the comments. You will be able to pursue a romantic relationship with both characters. I prefer romantic scenes to be explicit and detailed, subtle and less explicit. I have the feeling if I take the second choice that people will People will shout at me in the comments because I noticed it especially when I reacted to Heaven's Secret 2, like season 2 with Malabonte. They had very explicit scenes, and especially the first sex scene that we didn't have with Malabonte. The description was very explicit and detailed, and everyone was like, thank you for being so brave and whatever, and I have the feeling that if I go with subtle that people will hurt me. Yes. Please set your gameplay preference. With hints and able icons, I do the exact same thing in Heaven's Secret Requiem. You know what? Enable. Yes. Begin the story. Shock me. Oh my god, look at this! Under the cloak of darkness, where an ancient forest merged with the sky. Oh my god. Its residents worshipped dead gods. Gods that were forever silent. And moves alone. According to the legends, they had died back when the sun had moved into the realm of eternity. For many years, there had been an endless night until the star was reborn once again. But the gods didn't rise back with it. What story is this? Oh my gosh, look at the moon! The earth, deprived of divine protection, remained cursed. Oh wow, I love this already. No one knew what the gods had done to receive such punishment, but since their death, the village had been surrounded by fog. Oh my god, look at this background. From that moment on, anyone who stepped into that fog died in agony or disappeared. Oh my gosh, yes, people had been living in the village for many years, not daring to leave their safe heaven. But the silence of the haze could be deceiving. I'm gonna say something after this is done. Can I? Can I speak now? Alright, this gives off the vibes of Shadows and Bone. Fuck me. I loved that show. Episode 1, Awakening. I'm in love. The second you step foot into the haze, it will take you. Because there are monsters in it. Oh my god, yes. The author was inspired by Slavic mythology and pagan beliefs, but the events of the story are fictional and do not claim to be accurate history. Everything is fine, girl. Ooh, wow. I'm gonna enjoy this story, aren't I? Who did we murder? Oh my god, look at this! I love this already. Open your eyes and look at me, baby. Oh my god. Oh my god. The authors are outdoing themselves in those updates, y'all. Whose feet do I need to kiss? Simona screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the morning twilight. She quickly closed her mouth and turned toward her sister's bed. We have a sister? Cute. Varia was fast asleep. She didn't know yet that Simona was trembling, still in the grips of her nightmare. This is not a good sign. I need to be careful today, but it was just a bit... Omens don't scare me. I need to be careful today. I've always been surprised in a negative way. I'm not believing in destiny guiding me to safe heaven. I really am not. I need to be careful. I need to help myself to make it a good life. Her bare feet touched the floorboards. Simona hovered over Varia, her twin, peering at her features, which seemed even more perfect when she was asleep. We don't resemble each other at all, but I can't figure out who I saw in my dream. There was something dark and ominous about it. She wanted to wash her face to push away the persistent feeling of dread. The rays of the sun barely filtered through the thin gap between the curtains. They were trying to dispel the darkness that surrounded their beds, but the day was not yet at its peak, still helpless before the shadows. For some reason, thinking about that worried Simona. She pulled back the curtains and opened the window. It was the first day of the vernal equinox. That day they were going to gather to say goodbye to winter and welcome spring. But that wasn't why. Simona's heart hammered against her chest and her soul was restless, sick with worry. Very young Simona had been born on that day 18 years earlier. They were stepping into adulthood. Was their life going to change? Varia groaned, pulling the covers over her head. Time to get up if you want to have a blessed day. You'll sleep away all your luck. The gods won't judge me. I don't feel well. That's the me talking. Simona put on her clothes and tidied her hair. Varia peeked out from under the covers. Are you going out again? Yes, at least I'll make myself useful. Her smile was sad, but Varia was too sleepy to notice and too careless to understand. Damn! She too careless to understand what's going on with her sister. Their mother was already feeding the chickens. Simona always got up early, but she couldn't keep up with her parents. Her shepherd's staff was in the corner as usual. Hannah, their eldest sister, was sitting in the hall. Oh, a big family, I see. Hannah was born at noon. It quickly became clear that something was different with her. She wasn't crying. Exactly 1 year after Varia was born, but there was another baby in their mother's womb. Their mother suffered for a long time and nearly died in the process. It was only in the morning that she finally gave birth, and so Varia's twin Simona was born. 19 years had passed, but Hannah still hadn't spoken a word. Hannah was neither happy nor sad. For days on end, she would sit in an armchair looking out the window. Oh my god, is she numb? Like, is she being followed by ghosts? Are demons hunting her nightmares too? Like, there she was now, making a doll without looking at her thin, crooked fingers. A compassionate character is attentive, obedient, and hardworking. She sympathizes with people and cares about their lives. A determined character does what she wants regardless of what others think. She's curious and reckless. I have the feeling I'm more of a determined character than. Simona greeted her, walked past. At this point, I'm gonna walk past her because she's not gonna answer no matter what. There was no point in talking. I sometimes love the storyline. I sometimes love the author for just putting those options in here. Hannah wouldn't have answered anyway. I'm so sorry. She wouldn't have even turned her head. Now that's scary though. I wouldn't want to have her in my room. Simona had long stopped trying to find at least a grain of understanding in her empty eyes. How old is her sister? The silence of the morning was interrupted by loud axe blows. Simona looked around the corner to see what her father was doing. There was a crunching sound. A splinter came flying at Simona, whirling up a cloud of sawdust. Simona managed to duck back behind the wall. The splinter missed her and fell to the ground. Today you will be on alert, period. Good heavens, are you all right? Her father wedged the axe into the tree stump and came closer. I'm fine. His eyes fell on the shepherd's staff. Where are you going? You can leave the shepherd today. You can leave the sheep today. I'll take care of them. He caressed her hair roughly but affectionately. Today you and Varia have entered the light of adulthood. I will be glad to celebrate this day among the flock. Is your sugar daddy? Because I sure as hell want to be his sugar baby. I'm so sorry. God damn it. Can I take him to my room? Can I keep him? I'm done with the roof. I can fix the eggs next. The head may slip off the handle. Dragan's voice came from behind her. It was sharp as a blade and quick as a whip. Simona couldn't help but flinch, feeling the tip of that whip hit her shoulder blades. Me too. You're just in time. Simona's father turned her around. She tried to resist, although with not much enthusiasm. Dragan has prepared a gift. Dragan was the son of the village elder. He used to play with the twins as a child. Having grown up, he had begun helping their father around the house. Although he wasn't a carpenter, but a blacksmith, his handiness always proved useful. Now I know how good he will be with his hands around my waist. He met Simona's eyes with cruel indifference. Is that how things are? Has Varia woken up yet? No. Dragan whipped a few beads of sweat from his forehead. The indifference is gonna slip, son. I was capable to do the same thing with Cain. He took a rag and wiped his torso too, erasing the traces of his work. Simona stood still, reproachfully watching his mockingly slow movements. Her father didn't notice anything, smiling in anticipation. Dragan picked up a small bundle and handed it to her, almost shoving it in her hands. I'm sorry? There you go. Simona was confused. Is this for Veria? Is this for me? What is this? Honestly, I would have to be, what is this? Is this for me? Yes, I'll give Veria a gift later when she wakes up. You gave me a gift, thank you, Daddy. His eyes were already looking past her at the aches, which he couldn't wait to get started on. I'm sorry. I turn on. When someone is not capable... I love this. Oh my god. Like, I had the same reaction with Cain in the first episode. Like, the fact that they're capable to ignore you, yet you somehow still have the feeling that they're looking at you from like the side because they are some sort of interested in you already is just such a turn on for me. Simona clutched the bundle. She felt her cheeks flush and hated herself for it. Me too, girl. She was afraid that Dragan would notice and think that his gift meant something to her, but it does. And if it wasn't because of the bundle, then because of his rough hands around hers. It was the first time he had paid any attention to her. What did I say? Usually Dragan barely spared her a glance, never called her by name, and if he said something, it was either in a mocking or indifferent tone, and she wasn't sure which one was worse. Oh, these are the guys that I prefer, because it's always interesting to see them crumble, you see? Like, when I'm capable to, like, get through to them, like actually destroy the protective shield that they build around their heart. Ooh. If it wasn't for his warmth toward Veria and their parents, Simona would have thought that he was just a bad person. But Dragan was always willing to help their father around the house and always smiled when he saw Veria. Does he have a crush on her? Simona had long been convicted that he was in love with her sister. Y'all, this character also me. And no wonder everyone loved Veria. Great, so we are kind of like the twin that no one actually looks at. Thank you. Simona touched the bundle, but Dragan's voice stopped her. Are you going to open it here? Why, you want to see me opening it? An emotion flashed across his face, usually as still as a carved block of ice. Dragan smirked. There was an expectation in his smile and a hint of mockery, but who was he laughing at? Simona wanted to throw away his gift as if there was a snake inside it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's manure or something worse. No, I won't open this gift, not in front of him. Simona put the bundle into her string bag. Dragan's face became inscrutable again. He walked past her and picked up the eggs. Simona's father patted her on the back. May the gods favor you today. May the earth yield you to your footsteps, and may the sky pour its blessings on you. Let me guess, the blessings will be rain of blood. Thank you. He kissed her on the forehead and nodded, allowing her to leave. Simona eagerly left her house behind. Where are we going? Her feet stepped silently on the still frozen ground. That winter had been long and harsh, and nature was reluctant to awaken, or maybe something was holding it back. The village seemed empty and dead. The dry trees were shaking, their crooked branches rustling in the morning wind. The fog surrounding the village like a dense wall stretched out its claws and instantly retreated, not daring to go any further. It was to her right, and Simona casually looked at it, out of habit, checking if anyone would emerge from it. Okay, some choices increase your haze and reality points. The haze urges you to explore the unknown, disregarding the will of the dead gods. Reality shuns the cursed fog and seeks the protection of the gods. Nope. I believe in myself, in my own inner strength. I'm not gonna believe anything if I don't see it myself. The haze didn't scare her. Not to me, my good sis. Not today. She'd seen it since she could remember, and it had become a part of her life. Like, I'm sorry, am I supposed to always fear the unknown? Like, technically everything can be unknown to you. Like, an example, like you fall in love for the first time. The feelings that person stirs inside of you are also unknown, and it scares you at first, and then you blossom in those feelings when you realize what it is and what it means. So, no. Why the fuck would I be scared of the unknown? Simona walked through the withered grass, wrapping her slender fingers around the staff. It took her a moment to realize that something was wrong. She felt cold, her heart tightened with fear, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. Her feet suddenly stopped by themselves. The shepherd's staff fell to the ground with a soft thud. Simona turned to face the fog. She didn't really know what made her do that. The biting wind tugged at the hem of her clothes. She couldn't tell if it was dragging her into the fog or steering her away. The air turned dense and heavy, and goosebumps crawled across her skin. The pale mist felt damp against her bare legs. She felt lightheaded. Simona was trying to see something, but the fog made every effort to hide the world that lurked on the other side. Once again, her body leaned forward, as if controlled by someone else. Simona raised her hands, stretched out her fingers, and plunged them through the particles frozen in the spring air. Oh my god. Priest! Step back! Huh? Caught in the act, Simona jumped back. Her heart pounded in her chest as she turned to the voice that had given her that order. Oh my god. Sorry. The priest was standing still several feet away from Simona, watching her as she tried to deal with her fear. She was the one whom the evil spirits shunned. She was the one performing rituals and sacrifices. He was the one Simona feared for some reason. He studied her face intently, his eyes hidden behind the skull of a bull, a sacred animal protecting him from evil. His linen cape hung in the tatters off his broad shoulders, almost bursting at the seams. He was not very close, but she still had to lift her head to look at him since he was so tall. Gods be merciful, let him pass by. Let him pass by. What were you trying to do? I don't know, I just touched it. The priest took a step forward and Simona flinched, automatically taking a step back. He stopped. The priest took another step, but at the time Simona didn't move. As he passed by her, she swallowed back a shudder and a scream, any sign of fear, forcing herself to stand perfectly still. It was only when the figure of the priest disappeared into the distance that Simona allowed herself to breathe again. Snapping back to reality, she grabbed her staff and practically ran toward the pasture. It never occurred to me to touch the haze before. I don't know what came over me. And then I ran into one of the priests. This isn't good. I'm sorry, what's so bad if we walk into the haze? I don't get it. Simona sat under a tree. The sheep were grazing in the field, chewing lazily on the dry grass. Clumsy and slow, Simona was bad at spinning yarn, dancing, and cooking. Whatever she tried her hand at, it came out wrong. All her life she'd been growing up in the shadow area, a favorite of the gods. What did I say? Since she's the favorite, we need to be the one that is hated by the gods. Her sister was good at everything she tried, and that's where the insecurities come from. Like, especially if your twin seems to be doing everything great in, like, everyone else's eyes. Like, the people that surround you always seem to, like, prefer what your sister is doing, and you will always feel insecure over yourself. You will always feel insecure. And I feel bad for her because this is like a pain that I can understand. People used to make me feel insecure of myself plenty of times. Simona admired her, was jealous of her, didn't worry about it, wanted to be like her. Honestly, I wouldn't admire my sister. Didn't worry about it. I do because I feel some type of way about this. Like, if everyone always is like this towards us, like trying to make us see that our sister is so great and we can't do anything right, then I would feel some type of way about this. But her father doesn't seem to like be doing all this favoritism, and nor was the hottie that we just saw. So I didn't worry about it. It's fine. Simona simply lived her life. She wanted to become a better person, but not because of her sister. She just followed her heart. I want to be my own person. Like, sooner or later, I will find people that will like me for me, and that will not favor my sister or my double. When her mother accepted that Simona wasn't fit to help around the house, she was allowed to do what she preferred. See, that's also like a good thing. If you're not always good at everything, that means that the person that actually is good at everything she does will need to do like the job, while you aren't allowed to do it anymore. She loved animals and was happy to graze sheep and tend to them. We'll be dancing around the fire tonight. One of the sheep turned at the sound of her voice and bleated something in response. I know, I don't want to offend the gods with my dancing. The sheep came closer, chewing vigorously. Simona ran her fingers through its wool and scratched its head, thinking. The animal closed its eyes contentedly without stopping eating. I'm 18 now. What if someone comes to court me? Simona shook her head, tossing her hair over her shoulders. The idea of marriage terrified her. She was afraid that someone would take her heart away. She didn't want to give it to anyone. The sheep smelled the food in her string bag and nuzzled it. Shoo, go back to the others. Simona took out the bundle DRAGAN had given her, but was in no hurry to open it. Did my father put him up to it, or did he think it would be awkward to only give a gift to Veria? Oh, so this is a thing. Hesitantly, she unwrapped the gift. Huh? Oh, wow. He gave us a pendant. There was a pendant in the bundle. It looked as if it had been grown by Moko's caring hands. It was green, just like Simona's eyes. And for the record, I have green eyes. Green, blue eyes, but mostly green is showing, so delighted, Simona ran her hand over the stone. Did DRAGAN make it himself? Did he realize that he'd chosen a shade to match the color of my eyes, or was it just an accident? I think he knew what he was doing. Simona frowned, reproaching herself for being afraid of his gift. DRAGAN would never allow himself to insult the daughter of someone he respects. Of course he created a decent gift, even if he has no sympathy for me. Damn. I honestly think that's not true. I think he's treating her with indifference so that she doesn't feel weird, because she's used to everyone always like favoring her sister, and she doesn't harbor any bad blood because of it, because they seem to have like a decent relationship. So in her eyes it's fine. But if he actually shows that he has taken a special interest in us, then maybe we would feel some type of way about this, especially if he has always been ignoring us. So, in his eyes, he tried to like discreetly show his affection toward us. And this was like one of the reasons. Like, now we are 18, we are of age, so we can slowly start to like find a partner and whatever. And so he decided to slowly make some moves, you know? Simona turned the pendant towards the sun. The stone sparkled, reflecting the light. I'm extremely intrigued what our sister's present is now. It took her breath away. How beautiful. The pendant shimmered and blinded her for a moment, bringing back the memory of DRAGAN's slight smirk. But then, why did he have such an expression? What was on his mind? Simona clutched the pendant in frustration as if she had no right to do it. What should I do with it? Wear the pendant for the celebration, keep the gift, but don't wear it. Throw it away. Throwing it away but it would be a little bit dramatic. Wear the pendant for the celebration. Let's give him something pretty to look at. Simona put it on and pressed it tightly against her chest. This is a gift, and now it's mine. Why wouldn't you want to just keep it? Thank you that it has been added to my wardrobe. Simona relaxed again, staring thoughtfully at the flock. The reason she loved to herd sheep was the peace and silence that she always found sitting under that tree. Simona picked a straw and put it between her teeth. I'm sorry, doesn't that automatically mean that she's an introvert, as in she loves to isolate herself, if she enjoys the peace and quiet so much? Silence, blessed silence. The rustling of leaves and the occasional bleeding. Not a soul in sight. She slapped her knees decisively and stood up. I need to practice. Practice what? Smoothing down her skirt, Simona stretched her arms wide and took a deep breath. Then she froze. It's not that hard. She took a step, jumped on the spots, spun around, and leaped, high like a deer, lifting her legs. Her bare feet hid in the tall grass, her dress billowing from her sudden, clumsy movements. For a moment, Simona thought she was doing well, but as soon as she turned around, her feet got tangled and she stumbled, almost hitting the tree. The sheep bleated in Indonesian. Simona couldn't tell if it was mockery or support. I know, I'm a terrible dancer. Oh my god, I see that. No, thank you. Y'all, I always think that it's like the man to get you. I forgot the name again. You know, like the guy that comes to collect your soul after you die. Simona shuddered, catching a faint glimpse of a silhouette frozen on the horizon. Who's that? He didn't move. He just stood there and looked at her, and then he raised his hand and drew a circle in the air. I call upon wind power. So sorry. What? Unconsciously, Simona touched her wrist and brushed her fingers over her birthmark. It was a shape like a circle. Hannah and Varia had the same birthmark. Their mother said it was a blessing, protection from the gods. Simona believed it with every part of her soul, didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. The gods were dead. I mean, technically, if everyone is saying that the gods are dead, what makes you believe that all of a sudden, especially like ever since this Haze appeared? If I remember correctly, the Haze appeared the second that the gods disappeared. So the Haze still being here means that the gods are still not back. Or haven't recovered or whatever. Like, I don't understand how the gods could have disappeared if it was kind of because of them that the Haze appeared in the first place. But no matter. How could the gods protect you with their energy or whatever if they're dead? There was no one left to protect them. Her lips parted as if she wanted to ask a question, as if that man in rags could hear her, but the stranger turned around and wandered off into the forest. In their isolated village, there were legends that someone could be living in that dangerous forest, but the priests had never met anyone. Did Simona meet a forest ghost? One of the sheep had strayed away from the others. Simona had to push those troubling thoughts aside and get to work, but a premonition as dark as tar settled inside her stomach. That small, drowning fear, which she had tried to ignore, stubbornly continued to weigh on her shoulders, becoming more noticeable and palpable. Simona had started her adult life with a nightmare, almost touched a cursed fog, and then saw a man who may have been someone once exiled from her village. Those were bad omens, and Simona remembered each of them. But babe, if you don't remember, not if you don't remember, if you don't believe in gods anymore, how can you believe that this is a bad omen? Because of the gods. The work was finished. The twins had been helping with household chores all day long, but now they locked themselves in their rooms to prepare for the festivities. Simona looked uncertainly at her outfit. Clean clothes. Okay. In my eyes, every single outfit looks stupid. But maybe because it's not my style. Let's just go with this one. Varia was ready. She was sitting on the windowsill looking out the window. She was sad for some reason. Her thick, long locks cascaded down her back. Her rare, delicate beauty was natural, effortless. Simona couldn't help staring at her. Are you all right? Varia turned around, cast a quick glance at Simona, and tilting her head, smiled broadly. You're so beautiful. It really suits you. Thank you. No, really, it's a pity that you'll run away before the fun begins as usual. Varia shook her head as if clearing it. She jumped off the windowsill and walked toward her sister. She smiled, no longer sad, as if she dived into the icy pool of her worries and emerged a different person. Don't be afraid. It's a beautiful day. I don't want you to rush home. She put her arms around Simona, holding her close, and caressed her hair with an almost maternal tenderness. I want you by my side. That's so cute. Like, at least, even though everyone, has been kind of telling her entire life, or everyone made her think that Varia is, the better twin, and that we are kind of in her shadow. Her sister doesn't believe that, and she actually wants us by her side. High or low ties can change the plot dramatically. Okay. I want that too. The door opened and their mother rushed into the room as usual without knocking. She was incurable giggler, just like Varia. She was just short of 40 years old, but men and women still froze when she entered the room and turned their heads when she walked past. The mother was beautiful and charming, bubbling with life. She really is. Girls, are you still here? The young ones are already gathering. The boys are building the bonfire. Varia laughed loudly, as if what had bothered her was now entirely forgotten. She took the doll that protected her in her sleeve and brought it to her lips. She left a kiss on its prickly cheek. May the gods bless us. They definitely will, my darlings. Their mother gently touched Simona's shoulder. Sit down, I'll do your hair. Simona sat on the edge of the bed, letting her mother untie her hair. Are you going to take long? Varia couldn't wait to start dancing. You go ahead. I'll catch up to you later. Don't take too long. They heard her running hurriedly down the stairs. Simona's mother took a comb and ran it from the roots to the ends of her hair. Her every touch was gentle, almost weightless. I know you're worried. There were a lot of bad omens today. Don't be afraid. These dances are for the gods, not people. Even if you stumble, no one will judge you. Her mother's voice was quiet and melodic. The comb untangled Simona's tousled hair carefully, obeying her gentle, unhurried movements. The gods will keep silent if they don't like something, but people won't. Since when do you care about that? You've been hiding among the sheep for too long. You're 18 now. It's time to spread your wings. Her mother kissed her on the forehead and pulled away to look at her work. Done. Simona looked in the mirror. Ooh, that's also cute. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, that's also cute. Oh, I don't know. This or this? You know what? Let us use this flower crown. What do you think? It's beautiful, thank you. Then run quickly. Tonight belongs to you and the gods. Which is actually hilarious considering that I'm taking the choice that I don't believe in gods. Her mother stretched out her hand and Simona turned her cheek into her mother's palm, closing her eyes. I used to run away from people, but I'm an adult now. It's time for a change. But I hate when a change is forced. It should come because of you, and not because you feel that everyone expects you to change after you turn 18. The fairy tentacles of the bonfire soared up, trying to reach the stars. The red light was reflected on the faces of the young people around it, sitting on the ground. Bawdy songs and wild cheers pierced the night. The mead flowed, and many faces were flushed from drinking. The young women were laughing. Simona froze hesitantly, glancing at the wooden idol sunk into the ground. She suddenly regretted wearing DRAGAN's gift. Was it a good idea to dress up like that? Varia was sitting by the fire, surrounded by her friends. She was clutching a mug of mead in her hands. DRAGAN was sitting to her left. Of course this man would be sitting against the pretty twin. Again, not hating on my sis. He glanced at the newcomer, but only fleetingly, his attention turning back to Varia almost instantly, and you actually believe... No, I'm sorry. I think I remember that the narrator said that we always say that DRAGAN and her sister are like a thing. Are you surprised that we think that? Like, he's looking at us briefly and then all his attention is on our sister. He leaned over to her and said something smilingly. He even smiles at her. Varia threw back her head and laughed, not hiding her happiness from the gods. Simona was in no hurry to approach them, but Varia soon noticed her. She handed her mug to Dragan and rushed to her sister, deftly and gracefully jumping over other people's outstretched legs. Sister. Her embrace felt tight enough to crush Simona. They almost fell to the ground. You see, that's why I can't hate her sister. Because sadly, sadly, there are people like that. I said it in so many reactions as well. And not only in like my video game reactions, but also like in my series reactions. Like, there are sadly those wannabes, okay? Like, wannabes in general, it's like a bad thing. But there are like those people that just have like the capability to make everyone like drop on their feet and like beg them for attention, okay? Like, they're like the queen bee in your life. They don't have to do anything, but they are being loved by every single one around you. And you, as someone that then starts to get less and less attention the more you spend time in their presence, because they keep on taking like the spotlight away from you because of their just natural charisma, you start to lose confidence and you start to feel insecure in your own skin. And sadly, there are people that actually blossom in that. Everyone like taking their defenses, everyone saying, yeah, everything needs to be done in order for them to be happy. If something negative happens, then it's always the other person's fault and never the fault of the queen bee. There are people that blossom in that, and then people like our sister, for example, don't. So I can't hate her. It's not like she actually seems to want us to feel bad about the fact that she's getting supposedly more attention than we do. So I can't say anything bad about her. She always seems to be happy, and it's not like she's ignoring us or anything. She saw us and she said, Dragan, hold my cup, bitch. I'm going to get my sister. I can't hate her. Yay, at last. Come on. I can't hate her. She's such a cutie. Varia gripped her sister's hand and led her to the place where she'd been sitting. Dragan was no longer smiling. Of course he wouldn't be. What's wrong, son? Something happening in your pants? He was looking at the fire and didn't seem to be paying attention to Simona. No, I'm sorry. The fact that he can't even look at us for too long, something is happening downstairs. Because this is ridiculous. You can't look at our sister that looks technically exactly like us, but you can't look at us. Simona sat down between Varia and her friend Tata. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She reminds me of Melinda. Welcome. Tata smiled broadly, looking into her eyes, but Simona knew that her smile was fake. Her eyes never laughed. Tata was always friendly to everyone around her, but there was no life in her. She was like a doll that lifts the corners of its mouth, not understanding what it means to smile for real. Her eyes were silent, empty, and they only lit up when she spoke to Varia. Tata did not smile at Varia, but there was an openness in that she did not show to other people. What should I do? Greet her warmly. At this point, we be the bigger person. Thank you. You look like you're having fun. Of course. The dancing will start soon. Tata's pleased that you're being friendly. Simona, look what a wonderful gift Dragan prepared for me. Varia took the scarf off her neck and held out her open hands to her sister, showing the neatly folded red cloth. It's gorgeous, isn't it? She pressed it to her heart and then tied it around her neck again. I'll never take it off. Dragan kept staring at the fire, clenching his jaw from time to time. He didn't look flattered. What did Dragan give you? She turned to him, grabbing his forearm possessively. Oh, God. After feeling that he not pleased. Like, I feel like she actually wants the rumors to be true that they are a thing, and he is not having it. Like, he's interested in us. Sort of kind of deal, if you get my vibe. You promised me yesterday that you would give her something. So that's what that was about. It was because Varia asked. But could he have made such a pendant in just one night? No. Simona touched the pendant unconsciously. Good heavens, where did you get that beauty? Veria looked at Dragan. Her voice became quiet as if she were astonished. Is that your gift? Dragan looked at the pendant with undisguised irritation as if he didn't think Simona would dare to wear it. I guess so. You guess? This man did not want to acknowledge that he actually put in an effort for a gift. This bitch. What's that supposed to mean? Didn't he know what he was giving me? Nah, that's his way of trying to, put the attention on someone else. He's feeling shy. That's new. She wanted to rip it off her neck and throw it in his face. Nah, leave the necklace on because it's gorgeous. Who cares if he was the one to give it to us? But Tata's words calmed her down. It looks great on you. Dragan can be generous. Bye. He took a sip of his drink, washing down the bitterness of his answer. Veria clasped her sister's hand. That is right. It matches your eyes. Dragan choked, wiped the meat off his mouth, and hurried to justify himself. Will we look at that? Why do you feel the need to justify yourself? Again, I said it in Song of a Crimson Isle, y'all. You only feel the need to justify yourself if you care. You don't want to look stupid or whatever, so you care about the opinion of other people. So you try to justify yourself. That's not true. Let's stop talking about this. Yeah, because he doesn't want to deepen it even further, huh? Simona looked at his profile, which was only half illuminated by the fire. What was going on inside his head? Why did he dislike her so much? I don't think he dislikes you. I think he's just panicking. And why, damned gods, why had she put on the pendant? To spite him? Or on the contrary, to show him how the stone brought out her eyes? You'd like to figure out Dragan. I figured him out already. It's fine. Veria grew quiet again. Gradually, everyone got drunk. Time passed slowly, lazily, as if the gods were trying to prolong the night. At long last, the Magnus joined the celebration. Ignoring the crowd's enthusiastic screams, he headed toward the cushions set out for him. They were spread out on the ground so that he could comfortably watch the festivities. All right. The Magus' chest bore the mark of the gods he'd been born with. Oda was the only one who could hear their dying breath and talk to them, and therefore he was scared of the villagers. He sat down on the cushions and spread his arms wide, shouted, Velas, play for us. As your wish, bless one. Velas, one of the villagers, sat down at the tympanum. He paused, gathering his thoughts, and then began playing skillfully, hitting the leather membrane with his hands. A deep rumble rippled through the air, filling the space with infernal vibrations. It was so powerful, as if Velas himself was calling to the heavens in his menacing voice. Velas is the god of trade and wealth who reigns in the underworld. He is the patron god of the Magi. Come on, hurry up. Tata let out a loud, ringing laugh. He was a dancer at all rituals and celebration and was happy to demonstrate her skills. Simona allowed herself to be drawn into a whirlpool of dancing bodies. Everyone went wild. They awoke from their drunken stupor and plunged into ecstatic prayer. Every dancing movement was full of grace and raw energy. Slowly at first and more expressively, trying to keep up with the increasing rhythm of the tympanum, they expressed their reverence for nature and the gods. They rose their arms to the sky and then dropped them back down again, touching the ground with the tips of their fingers. Veria and Tata were dancing energically, lost in the music. Despite her shyness and embarrassment, Simona joined them. Her clumsy legs and arms got in the way of the others and only made her feel more nervous. But Simona managed to overcome it. We're a strong bitch. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and lifted her head so that the wind would cool her flushed cheeks. I mean, it's our party. Let's celebrate. If people think that we can dance, that's fine. Not everyone can dance, but at least I'm enjoying myself. You only live once. I've practiced every day. It's not just the sheep who should see my dancing. Let the gods watch too. This dance is for them and not for the people. Simona listened to the rhythmic sound of the drums and tried to get lost in it. She tried not to think about what she was doing and how she was doing it, and instead allowed her body to follow the call of the song instinctively. and all of a sudden she stopped tripping over her own feet. Her shoulders relaxed and her arms, once stiff and clumsy, encircled her waist in soft waves and then soared into the sky gracefully. Okay. Blooming in the fiery night dust under the stars that witnessed her triumph, Simona felt as if she were becoming one with nature. That connection twined and grew like coils of wine clinging to the unattainable. Her every movement was inspired by the breath of the elements, embodying the spirit of earth, air, and water. Simona spun and spun like a whirlwind, a real storm that could sweep away anyone who happened to be captivated by its madness. She called out the gods, she asked, she demanded. The cold of the night and the fire of her heart merged into one, completing the endless cycle of life and death, blessing and punishment. Simona danced with her eyes closed, unaware that she was being watched. Two eyes were closely observing her, trying to pick out only her body, her face, and the waves of her arms among the swirling, excited mass of people. What did I say? Strange. Dragan was looking at her, disarmed by her dance. I think it's just always so fascinating when those guys pretend that they are not interested or try to push you away because they know the second they give in, they will literally be all over you because they won't be capable to ignore the desires that are inside of them. So they try to ignore you. And you as a person that don't know that every time you see you, you get a hard-on because of all their bitch-ass attitude. You feel offended by the way they behave towards you. And you question your life choices when it comes to that person. And the second you just feel like you are in complete symphony with yourself, they can't help but to stare you down because they're that obsessed with you. Usually inept, clumsy, and reserved, Simona seemed to have exposed herself to him or to the gods. He wanted to look away but couldn't. Strange. Why was she doing that? Why was she working that magic? Why was she tormenting him? Because she can. Dragan forced himself to turn away and felt a terrible pang in his heart. That witch! She infuriated him, irritated him, exasperated him. But why, sis? She's only dancing. There was no need to react to that like a bull to a red flag. There was no need to fly into the scorching flames. Dragan looked around for another woman. He focused on someone else's hair, someone else's smile, someone else's impersonal dancing. But no one will be capable to attract you as much as I do. And his heart, filled with hatred, began to calm down. Dragan was waiting for Simona to finally go home and stop torturing him. Honestly, at this point, I would just be dancing all around him just to tease him a little because, bitch, you be pretending to be doing all of this for no fucking reason. You've disturbed what? You've disturbed the peace of Dragan's mind? What? But there was someone else watching her. Who are you? All right, the man that came later. Oza hadn't noticed her before. Of course, her face was familiar to him, but there was nothing special about it. Nothing interesting. Simon had always seemed too indifferent, too aloof, too prim and proper. He couldn't lead her into a dark corner, whispering sweet nothings in her ear. She wouldn't come with him and fall at his feet. Nah, sorry, son, you need to put in a little more effort. But there was no disobedience in her either. Nothing predatory or defiant. Simona was neither submissive nor rebellious. She was like a river flowing around a lake, not wanting to be a part of anything else. Oza tilted his head and spoke to his friend without taking his eyes off Simona. What do you want? Who is that? The shepherd's daughter. What's her name? Do you like her? Her name... He gives off the vibes of, I don't know if you all watched it, but Percy Jackson, when he saw Annabeth. Simona, as I recall. Oza was silent, watching Simona's dancing. He stroked the corner of the pillow thoughtfully, lost in his thoughts. I haven't seen her dance before. You can talk to her. Oza chuckled. No. Why would he do that? He still wasn't interested in Simona. But he was staring at you. We caught his attention, that's all that matters. You don't need to immediately be in love with me just yet. Young men and women danced around, shouting prayers, piercing the air with their joy. Simona's body was hot, lost in the dance, melting against the heat of the flames. Bright flashes gleamed in Simona's eyes every time she looked at the bonfire. That was why she didn't notice that Tata had almost stopped dancing, was looking at her serious and bewildered. All right. Dancing was all that saved Tata's lonely, broken heart. She particularly admired the female body, its curves and flexibility. She liked to look in the mirror and watch her flesh obey her movements. And now she was inspired by Simona's newfound vigor, as if doused by a bucket of cold water. Tata looked at her hips, her arms, and her exposed neck, and wondered how she hadn't noticed it before. Simona could become a dancer. She could charm anyone. And wear a succubus. If only she knew how beautiful she was when she thought no one was looking. You've impressed Tata. Oh, thank you. This is also something like that my mom used to say. And my dad as well. Like, I don't consider myself as particularly pretty. Like, my best friend keeps on telling me that I look like an angel to her. I don't quite see why, but I mean, different people, different tastes. If every human being had the same tastes, humanity would be lost. But yeah, I don't get it, and I never really had the thought that I had many male admirers. But what I noticed recently is that, in general, I would mostly only get along with men. I had male friends at school. Like, it wouldn't last with women on a long run. I would get along better with men. And I did have a friend confess to me, but I was very, very naive. And he tried to brush it off later on when I rejected him. But in my eyes, back then, I still wasn't that interested in men. Like, I was a kid, at least in my eyes. I hadn't really discovered, like, a sexual desire and etc. yet. So I thought everyone was like a friend to me. Like, everyone being friendly and everything. Like, the staring and paying attention to me was like them being friendly. And maybe I didn't notice people staring, alright? Simona stopped trying to catch her breath. Her dress clung to her body. Every gust of wind sent goosebumps all over her skin, damp with sweat. Simona didn't look at the others and stepped aside to take a little rest. She was starting to enjoy the evening. It was time to choose the young women who would be dressed in white. The young men started yelling out names, and the women laughed and put themselves forward. Why don't you join them? Simona raised her head, greeting her friend with a smile. Why don't you? Instead of answering, he sat down next to her and stretched out his tired legs. Your dancing was beautiful. Why didn't you join before? That's the first time I've managed to do it right. The Magus was looking at you. He's been watching you for a long time. Simona followed Mala's gaze and met Ozar's black eyes. Oh, y'all, I would be creeped out, I'm not gonna lie. Like, imagine, like, the scenario. There is a man looking at you. You look at them, like, try to be friendly, giving them a cute smile, and they, like, look at you mischievously and, like, even bite their lip. No, I'm done. Like, that would be too much for me. He was sprawled on the cushions, his arms spread wide at his sides. Noticing that Simona was looking at him, Oza held her gaze. Huh? Get embarrassed, shrug annoyed, no, I'm sorry, embarrassed. I mean, not because of beauty or anything, but I would be embarrassed. I would be, like, looking away. I would be like, okay, son, whatever you say. What's gotten into him? I don't know. I wanted to ask you. He's looking at you like he wants to eat you. Don't be ridiculous. You're embarrassed by Sarah's attention. I mean, to a specific degree, yes, so Varia screamed with happiness, stretching her arms to the sky as they dressed her in white. That night she was going to be the one, the special one. Simona looked at the magus again and almost flinched when she realized that he was still staring at her. Me! Even now, when all his attention was supposed to be focused on Varia, the young woman who was to become the symbol of the night, he kept looking at Simona. I'm sorry, it's like our birthday, and this seems to be like a small tribe. Why aren't we both dressed in white? Why does it have to be one? Simona shook her head as if dismissing Ozar's silent conversation. Maybe he had a vision about me? But what was it about? Nah, girl, he planning to do some naughty things to you. Simona didn't immediately notice that Mylon was wringing his hands nervously. He always did that when he wanted to tell her something but didn't dare. What is it? What? Tell me already. I think I'm in love. Mylon smiled a sincere, somewhat sleepy smile as if he were feeling dizzy. In love? Simona forced her face not to grimace. With whom? My parents are against our union. She asked me not to tell anyone. I won't tell anyone, alright. But you'll share your secret with me, right? The many things... Yo... I'm a bitch if I say this, but at this point I give off bitchy vibes, so, but you'll share it with me, right? Mylon blushed. I'm sorry, I can't. Blas was drunk on meat. Having left the triumphant to the other musicians, he staggered his way through those celebrations. He put his hand to his mouth and screamed, oh my god, and no one's gonna dance for us. Varia had been laughing a moment before, but her expression immediately grew as dark as the thunderclouds. She stormed through the crowd and shoved Vlas in the chest. May Krembach devour you for your dirty mouth. Come on, what did I say? The gods know it's true. You better worship instead of getting drunk. Look at yourself. You won't stop until you drink every drop of it. Tata tried to calm Varia down. I love that she's standing up for her friend. She's like, bitch, what the fuck did you just say? Come again? It's alright. Don't listen to him. He's drunk. I'm drunk, but you're not, so dance. Oh, fuck. No. Who's gonna smack him? Can I? Because now he's being a little too much. Now he's being a little too pushy. I mean, he's drunk. Of course he won't notice, but this was like a celebration for us. Now, I'm not trying to make this all about me and everything. But wasn't this supposed to be like the celebration of the second someone becomes 18 in this city? Or like this little, I'm just gonna call it this little a place that they built here in the wilderness? Why do they think that they should get drunk? I mean, they can drink, like, don't get me wrong, but, like, to actually get drunk and then cause all this ruckus? Varia made a quiet but threatening sound, something between a growl and a curse ready to hit him. Amen, my good sis. But DRAGAN caught her swinging hand and gently pulled her aside. Nah! Let my sister make me proud! Have my sister make me proud! That's enough. All my fist in your face was... My bad too. Whoever draws the first blood will get Prenun's blessing. Prenun is the highest god of the Fenun, the god of thunder and lightning. Okay. This man actually wants to be struck by lightning? Okay. That can be arranged. Oh! Okay, son. Okay, my good sis. Nah, DRAGAN is my man, apparently. That can be arranged. That's enough. No, this is on side, ma'am. Tata stood between DRAGAN and Vlas, not her actually being the victim here of this bitch's attitude. And she's trying to, like, calm, like, the waters with the people that are trying to stand up for her. I'll dance if you play. I will be honored. Simona didn't even notice how she had jumped up watching their exchange. Mylon tucked her arm gently to make her sit back down. Varia is always getting into fights. And DRAGAN is always protecting her. Vlas returned to his drums. Varia was wearing a flower crown. She was supposed to dance with Tata. She began dancing around the bonfire, slowly at first, and then faster and faster, until they ran as if they were being chased by Krenobuk himself. wild and elegant like frightened deer crossing a field. There was a struggle for life in their movements. It was surprising that they could move like ordinary people rather than being constantly immersed in the chaotic frenzy of ritual dance. Suddenly, Varia stopped staring out intensely into the distance where the warm flames couldn't reach. Simona tried to figure out what had distracted her sister, but she saw nothing apart from the bearable, discernible fog. What's up with her tonight? I wish I knew. But the vision vanished and Varia sprinted after Tata again. Is she seeing visions? They shook their heads, tapping their feet in time with the music as if they were possessed. Is she like the Brahims from Kali Call of Darkness? I'm worried. The firelight outlined the silhouette of Last Serious, sobered-up face. The flickering light bounced off the vibrating instrument. The musician's wrists hit the triumphant hard enough to cause an echo in the very depths of earth, asserting their power. Monotonous, insistent blows lulled everyone into a trance, drawing them into a cave of incoherent images, mirages, ecstasy. The music increased in tempo. The last, most powerful blows left their ears ringing like lightning rippling through the darkness. Vlas lowered his exhausted hands, reached for his mug, and finished the meads. Sweat streamed down his face, and his chest was heavy. He drank and looked at Tata, who froze looking at him, just as tired and breathing just as hard. Tata tossed back her fairy curls and walked away from the dancers. I think you really offended her. I will go comfort her. Let us find a way. I feel like she's gonna be in love interest. Varia hasn't noticed that Tata's gone yet. I don't want her to get upset. I think too much of Varia's feelings. Leave me alone. Simona stuck her tongue out at him and looked around for Tata. She was sitting on a swing hanging from a tree branch. Simona approached her, walking carefully, trying not to scare or drive Tata away. May I join you? Of course. Cute. Tata smiled with a sharp and quick movement of her lips, so forced that she couldn't help but realize it. She tried to make up for it and asked more sincerely, How did you like our dance? The god surely couldn't help but appreciate it. Tata noted with satisfaction. She touched her chest. Her fingers were still shaking. Tata couldn't stop dancing until Vlas stopped playing. She was tired, but she didn't want to show it. Don't pay attention to Vlas. Tata looked at Simona with unexpected anger. I don't need your pity. You ought to pity yourself. Simona smiled rarely. Tata recoiled at such vicious indifference. May I ask why? You don't know how to do anything. Tata wanted to bite her tongue, but her wounded pride and burning resentment burst out like poison, which stung her as well. So be it, but you have nothing to do with it. So you don't care? I'm trying to be helpful. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't you care what others think of you? Babe, if I would give a damn about what everyone thinks of me, god damn it, I'd be dead already. I don't know what they think of me, and I don't care. Tata pushed herself on the swing irritably. The ropes creaked as they tightened on the thick branch, but that actually just shows that Tata cares what other people think of her. Nonsense, you do care. Otherwise you wouldn't avoid people. Then why don't you avoid them? Tata wanted to say something, but the words got lost on the tip of her tongue. She began swinging back and forth, pulling Simona along with her. Simona was looking at her profile with interest. Tata had a beautiful, gentle face. Her eyes always looked a little frightened. She was gorgeous, even when she was frowning or grimacing. But the magic of her looks was only revealed in dancing. Her red hair looked like flames, soaring into the sky and falling back down like springs. Her small but firm breasts rose and fell from jumping, and her collarbones were about to burst through her delicate, milky skin. Simona had never talked to Tata for so long, but she'd always watched her dancing almost secretly. No one could do it better than her. Simona caught herself thinking that she liked how blunt Tata was. And even though she'd taken off her mask only a few inches, Simona could see the real her. You danced well tonight. Tata spoke while pouting slightly, and therefore her words sounded like a reproach. Thank you. Makas didn't give you a talent, but if you tried hard, you could become a dancer. Mokash is the god of fertility, mistress of the darkness. She spins people's destinies. Do you really think so? Of course. Is she wearing a mask again? Which of her words are true and which are sweet lies? Join the ride, sis! You enjoy talking to each other. Tata frowned, staring at the crowd. Veria's crying. Her sister was next to Dragan. What? You want me dead? Don't speak of what you don't know. They were arguing about something. Dragan tried to hold her back, but Veria broke free and ran away. I'll go after her. Give her a hug for me. But Simona ignored her words. Dragan, why are you that bad at dealing with women? Veria was hugging a wooden idol, whispering something. Her eyes were closed. Oh God. Tears were rolling down her cheeks. What should I do? Curse Dragan! At this point, I got some sass. If father finds out about this, Dragan will have to beg for forgiveness on his knees. Veria recoiled from the idol and, wiping away her tears with the back of her hand, hurried to defend him. No, don't. It's my fault. Don't tell father. What happened between you two? Veria turned away from her sister. You're lucky. I'm even jealous. Huh? Of what? Path of determination. You don't care about other people's lives. You don't need their love. You don't need anyone's attention. Is she kind of depending on that? She feels that she has no purpose if it's not about being perfect so that everyone can, admire her? You're on your own. That's why I don't care if they laugh at the fact that you'd rather tend to the sheep and blow in the field instead of sewing. You don't care about guys. You don't care about anything, but I do. No, girl, you see the problem. We do care to an extent because we do give a damn about you. If not, we wouldn't be here. But we care to a healthy extent. I care about the people that in my eyes are worthy. Okay? I care about the people I care about. But caring about every single human being when I deep down already know that there will be people that won't like me, people that have such a different opinion than I do, and trying to please them to the extent where I tend to lose myself? No. You care too much, girl. I care to an healthy amount. And that makes you think that I don't give a damn at all. You make it sound like it's a good thing. Veria's eyes brimmed with tears again, but she shook her head, fighting them back. I love you, Simona. What's wrong? Veria hugged her sister, burying her wet cheeks in her hair. Simona felt lost. She didn't understand what was bothering Veria, and she didn't know what to say to calm her down and end the conversation as soon as possible. Don't you like to feel emotions, girl? You're my twin, my sister. There is no one closer to me than you. What should I say? That's right. Veria took her hands and whispered anxiously and solemnly like an oath. I will never ever leave you. This sounds like a goodbye. Babe. Do you believe me? Babe, what did you do? Me. What's gotten into her? What worried her so much? Of course I do. Veria laughed through her tears and hugged her sister. It's kind of a bad day, isn't it? But you said it was a good day before we left. Did you also see? Veria squeezed her neck so hard that Simona wheezed, gasping for air. Hush, I don't want to talk about anything bad anymore. The drums thundered again, inviting everyone for a round dance. Let's go, the celebration is almost over. Veria led her sister to the others, not giving her a chance to ask any more questions. This woman is something else. Young men and women danced around the fire as the flames rose up, swaying above their heads. Veria held out her hand with a smile. Dance with me. Holding hands, they joined the stream. Their steps hit the ground with great force, like the blows from a hammer, and then rose again to step to the side. Round and round they danced around the flames, an eternal, ever-renewing round dance. The sounds of ancient instruments swept under their skin and squeezed their hearts, adjusting their beating to the rhythm. They were the wind, the quiet lake, the burning candle. Their faces were illuminated by the moonlight, reflecting the gleam of the god's attentive gaze. Simona laughed loudly, as if in a fever, but her laughter was drowned out by the screams of others. Obeying Tata's voice, the round dance switched to the side direction. She let them set the pace. Simona felt dizzy and stopped paying attention to people's faces. She only saw the light of the fire, serene, primal, like a fever before death. Their celebration was intoxicating, maddening. When Simona finally opened her eyes and looked around, someone else's fingers were clutching her hand. Startled out of reverie, she broke free and backed away, looking around. Varia? Her sister was nowhere to be seen. Varia! Simona was looking around, sweeping the crowd without lingering on their faces. No one was looking at her, lost in a labyrinth of madness. Where is she? Pressing her hand to her chest, she tried to calm her racked breathing. This is enough. This is enough for today. Backing away again, she turned around and rushed home. How did we not notice that she left? The door creaked loudly. Simona entered the hall quietly and called in a low, cautious voice, trying to find the familiar figure in the dark. Varia? But no one answered. Then she went upstairs, jumping over several steps at a time. Way to wake up, everyone. Varia's bed was empty. She wasn't home. So she's still out there. She's probably having fun with some guy. I don't think so. Had too much meat. May have lost herself in the dance. I have the feeling maybe she lost herself. Simona went to the window and raised her eyes to the sky. She once again remembered her dream. The night is almost over. By morning, the threat will be gone. Dim stars sailed through the darkness, making their way to other worlds, but Simona knew that they would not be able to reach them. That time tomorrow they would return to their place. Simona's whole body shuddered. A lonely star was falling across the sky slowly but steadily. Its light, which once seemed so bright and unwavering, was now fading. Like a cry of farewell in the silent darkness, calling for help but hearing no answer. A lost voice in the boundless space. The soul is falling. Simona said it out loud. Her heart responded, trembling in her chest. She suddenly felt cold. Her head seemed to be squeezed in a vice, not letting in any thought except, someone died. Oh, sister! Simona rushed out of the room, ran downstairs and outside. Can we feel when someone died? Don't touch me! The village was empty, lifeless. Emboldened, the fog had burst its banks like floating river and was now wandering through the streets. Varia! Simona felt hysterical. Varia! Oh my god. The stubborn fog concealed the horizon. The outlines of houses and trees became clear only when Simona came very close to them. She rushed from street to street, looked into courtyards and listened to the somber silence. And then she saw something that hadn't taken shape yet, something that was lying on the ground like a pile of snow that hadn't melted. Huh? Simona approached it slowly. Oh my god, are we gonna see her sister's body? Oh my god. What did I say? Varia lay motionless, deathly ashen, frozen like a wax statue. The haze stretched out as if it wanted to engulf her, but retreated as soon as Simona approached. Varia! Her sister in a white dress. She was dead. No more wedding dress. They said not even in need of a wedding dress. You're the Virgin Mary. That's why you'll die a virgin. Dang! They did not have to be like this. But oh my god, this story is so interesting. Like, please let me know in the comments if you want me to continue with the story or not. Because I'm not sure which story I want to put first right now. Soulless or this one. Because in my eyes, even though a lot of people said that Soulless, like the main character, is extremely iconic, and honestly, she is, like, she reminds me of myself a bit, but I feel like in general the storyline is sometimes a little bleak. So I feel like the storyline would be of more interest to me from the storyline, not the characters. So I would prefer this story, but I'll leave it up to you guys because this is just the first episode. It could be that the story is ruined. Like, a lot of you told me that the spin-off from Kali Call of Darkness got ruined because of a change in the author, and that's why you didn't want me to continue with it, because it would be disappointing to me. So I'm gonna believe in you guys, and that's why I stopped this. So I don't know, like, tell me in the comments, which story do you want me to upload next? Like, another episode of this story or of Soulless? I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.